Marra Sr., but you can all call me Ben. I am 82 years old. I grew up in Connecticut along with my 3 brothers and 4 sisters. As a full family of 10, we worked hard to maintain the chain of grocery stores that my parents founded. But at the age of 17, all of my brothers had been drafted to the war, which a lot of families had to do in order to keep that war going, I guess. In order to follow in the footsteps of my brothers Guy, George, and Butch, I changed my birth certificate to say I was 18. Soon I went off to the Navy. I remember that July when I was told to report for duty. They sent me overseas, and my first stop was going to Scotland. Then I was in London, England. I was under the commanding officer, Admiral Stark. My roommate and best friend during the war was a person called George Vernis. We stayed in a place called Grosvenor Square where I experienced my first real encounter with the war. One day, 3 blocks down from our living quarters, one of those famous German V-bombs, everything within a 4, 5, 6 block area. And that was one of my first experiences there as being in London. Soon after this experience, I was sent to patrol an area while we were in Germany. Through the debris, I came across another soldier. Naturally, he was German. He and I stood among the damage, staring at one another. I guess he was as scared as I was. So looking around, just waiting for another to make a move, I didn't have to look very far. I saw him running away. I least expected it, and away he went. Not everything was easy. It was rough as we went on past. Most of the times we'd go to a few dances here and there, and that was my favorite part of the war. My friends and I spent some of the nights off at some pubs having a few drinks. I had many great experiences while serving, and I never met one soldier who had a negative attitude. They were all looking at the one day when they're all coming home soon to be with their folks and their parents and their wives and so forth. After 6 months in London, I was transferred to Bremerhaven in Germany. There I received a telegram bearing the terrible news that my brother had been hospitalized, and I decided to fly there to a place called Bournemouth on the seacoast of 4K, which was a town, but I was allowed to stay for only 7 hours before I was flown back to Germany. While I was there, my brother introduced me to a young guy that was in the bed next to him. And this fellow was in not only the Army, but he was in the Marines before that, got discharged, and they couldn't keep him out of the war. And he started in the community, he joined the Army again. And after that, during the war, I carried a Tommy gun, which was issued to me as a part issue as the part of the Navy. And it was for me to take care of until the battle was over, and then I would turn it in. War naturally is horrid. It's not the nicest thing. My brother was wounded while he was with General Patton on the Metz border, and he received the Purple Heart for that mission. When my term was up in Germany, I was assigned to a heavy cruiser called the USS Salina. I obtained a disability by stepping on some glass and was transferred to a hospital ship. I picked up the ship in Tsingtao, China, and I was shipped back to a Navy base in Hawaii, which was called Aiea. I was finally discharged after serving in the Navy for 3.5 years. After the war, I worked for my father in a chain of grocery stores that he had started. Eventually left the business and started to work at a company called Fuller Brush Company that sold brushes and many other items. When I was promoted to a manager, I hired my old buddy, George Vernis, and he also became a manager, and we had some good times together. I decided to go to a dance one evening when I was back in Connecticut after getting out of the Navy, and that's where I ended up meeting the heart of my life, and her name was Franny. We married on February 9th, 1948, the same day as her birthday. We now have been married for over 60 years and have 4 children named Robin, Ben, Mary, and Lisa. War is okay if you're fighting for a good cause, which we were. But fighting just to keep your pride is pointless, as everybody knows. I believe that America, as strong as it can be, kept the world from being taken over by Hitler, as everyone knows. And that joining World War II was the right decision on my part. And freedom definitely is the key. That's the reason we fight. Land of the free and the home of the brave, that will never change.